Hi there, it's Fran Davidson from Psychic and Energy Work, and this video is looking at the world of healings, specifically spiritual healings, which are often called psychic or energetic healings, even though within that category there's a range of options and all sorts of things you can do within it. I suppose as a first step it might be worth referring back to my video about readings, because in there I allude to stuff like, how the practitioner references to obtain their guidance or the assistance they're offering others or even themselves. That too is also really important in the healing world. So if you'd like to, go through to my YouTube channel or through to my website, www.psychicandenergywork.com.au, where you can download that video there. So first of all, what's a healing? I suppose that's really interesting. You could define it from what the practitioner or the healer does, that angle. In that case, you could say it's any moment where a person chooses to receive and therefore channel, pass on, healing energies either to themselves or to other people. You could also define healings from the perspective of the client or the customer, and therefore from the self. Because at the end of the day, we're all recipients of healings, no matter how we choose to go about that. A healing in that sense is any moment where you choose to relax and let go. Sometimes we might do that very, very consciously. Yeah, I'm stressed, I've had a big day, I just need to tune out. So yeah, I choose to dim the lights, I choose to meditate, or I choose to just chill somehow. There are other moments that are incredibly healing that have nothing to do with spirituality or energy. For example, just going for a beautiful walk in a park, heading out for a day trip or even a trip, no matter how long it is, anywhere beautiful, and more importantly, anywhere that inspires but also breaks the pattern, breaks the bubble of where we usually work and play and reside, where we've been. Even just going for a drive for a day, or catching a train or a bus for a day, or walking or cycling, whatever, any form of movement out of the usual bubble of awareness and referencing tends to be healing. Why? Because it helps to burst that bubble without necessarily efforting at it. Nature in itself is also incredibly healing. And so on one level, to heal, to receive a healing, we don't need to do much more than just get back to nature. That can involve a really long drive, or trek, and they can be wonderful moments, but it can also just be, hello, just head to the park, just sit on the grass, watch the trees, forget where you've been for a moment. So healings come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and they can be defined in many, many ways. Of course, there's many ways to deliver healing. There's, shall we say, what could be called the Western medicine approach, the Chinese medicine approach, other forms of medical approaches. Everything's healing if it's done in balance. There's also perhaps what could be called the more spiritual or new agey or energetic forms of healing. Within that, you have all sorts. You have chakra rebalancing and healing, you have shamanic healing, auric healing, Reiki, shiatsu, psychic healing, energetic healing, spiritual healing again. The list is endless, and all of these modalities can offer benefit, again, when they're done in balance. That's an interesting word, balance, isn't it? Because it sort of requires balance on the part of the practitioner, on the part of the approach, but also on part of the client. Each, again, of these modalities can be incredibly effective. On one level, what really matters in healing is, again, your breath, your out-breath through your nose. Through your mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. But also your decision to just let go of everything for a moment, to let energy move. In that sense, even exercise is healing, especially the aerobic level, and especially when it's done outdoors. Anything that helps us breathe to the point where we just let go of what we've been focusing on, like going for a drive, as another analogy. All of that is healing work. So having said all of that, how can healings happen? What I mean by that is, from the modality called healing, that is more of the spiritual or new age or energetic in variety. A person can offer healing by putting hands on the body, by holding hands at auric level. The aura is the energetic zone around the body, and healing at that level. We can also heal away from the body, maybe in the same room, but not necessarily connecting with the aura. And then, of course, a person can heal from a distance. Again, each and every one of these levels can be incredibly effective, and some healers will use a mix of all, others will prefer to work at only one level. We each have our own natural groove, and hopefully we're all operating from that level. But having said that, that's also a call for the client. What do you prefer? What do you really benefit from? And again, you could argue that that's not necessarily the same every day. So hands on the body, again, that can involve just touching, just connecting with the body, often starting at shoulders, but not necessarily. Hands-on healing shouldn't be invasive, and so your practitioner should always be working with you to make sure that where they're going is fine by you, and that, of course, they're keeping away from any of the more sensitive spots, unless, of course, they have your explicit permission to go there. Auric healing is where, again, the healer takes the hands off the body, doesn't touch the body, but works at auric level. That can be very, very close to the skin, or it can be further away. It can be meters away, depending on the aura, depending on the moment. Auric healing and energetic healing can involve channeling energy in. It can also involve witnessing energy going through and around a client rather than it just coming through the healer's hands. It can involve what's called psychic surgery or energetic surgery, where energies or blockages are pulled out of the body. Even it may not be a blockage, it might just be stuff, gunk, rubbish, whatever, toxins, cords, IVs, all sorts of words and all sorts of things can come out of a body on an energetic level. Even on that note, even dissociating, separating clients from outside energies like spirits or entrapments of any sort, not necessarily in the form of beings, even that can be incredibly effective and be involved in a healing. So that's auric level. Auric level can involve patting the aura, thumping the aura, waving the hands through the aura. There's just no one way to do a healing on an energetic level. Sitting further away from the body or moving away from the body in a way that you're not using your hands, that too can be incredibly healing. Why that's effective is because at the end of the day, the divine is real, the universe is real. Energetic healing is not something that is created out of another human being and passed on to a client or a customer. That healer, any healer, in a sense, anybody who's working in an energetic sense, is choosing first to tune into, ideally, spiritual energies and receive them so as to help them flow through to the client. Now, they can flow through the hands, but they can also flow directly through to the client as well. Even if a healer is using hands-on approaches, she or he has the opportunity to let divine energies be falling around and through you at the same time, and that often enhances the reading. It often makes it even more powerful. So just sitting back and witnessing and allowing the divine to get to work can be incredibly healing for a client, perhaps even more than using hands. Then, of course, there's distant healing, where the client isn't in the same room as the practitioner. That too, as I've explained, by way of the hands-off, the healing away from the client, that can be absolutely amazing. What do we refer to when we're doing a healing? Again, it depends on the practitioner. So some people refer to guides. Some people use systems. For example, Reiki will go through a series of steps, if that's the way to say it. Other people just open up to the highest level of energy that's there. There are all sorts of levels in the world of energy, and so therefore what we offer as healers, and therefore what the client experiences and receives, and therefore how far she or he shifts, is a product of what the healer themselves knows about, refers to, and allows in for that healing to occur. And that's why a spiritual healing, a truly spiritual healing, is allowing healing energies to come direct from source, direct from the universe, only what's good, the highest level possible, straight through to the client, without the healer needing to be the channel, needing to be the conduit through which everything else happens. So, what should a healing result in? Peace, balance, ideally energetic shifts, and they can be felt on a perceptual, emotional, physical or energetic level. So sometimes people leave a healing just feeling way more balanced, I just feel clearer. Sometimes in a healing there's a need to cry, release emotions. If a person cries, whether it's in a reading, a healing, a clearing or anything, you're going the right way. Crying is one of the hallmarks of healings. Why? Because we're choosing to release something deep, something profound, rather than hold it in a way that it creates a stuckness. Healings, ideally, they deal with everything in the one session. Sometimes clients need to come back, but really a spiritual healing on that level, it usually sorts everything that needs to be sorted out on the day, and therefore for that period, it sorts it out, gets rid of it, moves it, helps it shift. That, of course, is depending on the client. If a client is willing to receive a healing, allowing the energy to do what it's doing, letting him or herself let go of what's being held or what they're caught up in amongst, a healing can really do its job in one session. Sometimes repeats are needed, but not all the time. The other aspect to notice is that healings should never leave a client feeling odd, feeling like they're still caught up in stuff. Again, sometimes that can happen, especially if the client is unable to let go of everything they've been holding on to in a session. So it's not all about the healer. But I suppose the point I'm trying to make as a final point, sometimes healings can happen or be given from the perspective of what I've learnt or what I've known as a healer, from a model. Sometimes healings can come in a way that perhaps the healer is positioning him or herself as the source of the healing energy. When that happens, healings can be limited. Again, you've got to be very careful with those statements, because in no way am I trying to cast aspersions about anybody else or any form of healing work. But the point being is that a healing, a truly spiritual healing, often offers information at the end to really help you digest and process and let go and just conclude. But even if there's no dialogue at the end or even through the healing, you should be coming out feeling balanced, feeling clear, and often as a result of a healing, things just shift in a way that, having had that healing, you're ready to go out into the world on a different level. But also when we heal, often the world starts to meet us on a different level, because we ourselves have chosen to release and let go. The final note, you can fall asleep in a healing. It often happens, and falling asleep, just like crying, just like emotion, it's a good sign. If you need to fall asleep, it's usually because, you need to let go without being conscious. So at the end of the day, enjoy your healing journeys. Do what you need to. Suss your healer out. Ask questions before you start, and always guide your healer through the process. No one is ever an expert at you. Only you are. And whilst you consult a healer for assistance, that doesn't necessarily mean you should hand over your intelligence or your own gut feel, or definitely your list of needs and limits. So all the very best to you. If I can help you with healing or any other aspect of psychic and energy work, go through to the website, again, psychicandenergywork.com.au, and get in contact there. All the very best to you. Enjoy your journey. Bye.